Let's go to Nebby. What do you have in third place?
Alright, third place. You know what? I was uh I was thinking I'd have to put Rush Hour on this list of mine, but I was like, nah. You know what I mean? We talk about Rush Hour a lot,
Mhm.
but I don't think time to be on this list for that. So instead of that, I'm gonna have to give it to Head of State.
Head of state. Okay.
I thought that movie was great. I thought it was I thought it was overall really fun. I didn't know much about government, but this taught me how government works and how
Yeah,
a president becomes a president.
I don't think that's a good thing because it's kind of for me too. This was like my first experience with the inner workings of government and just like how a
Exactly.
president becomes a president. And everything in here is obviously not accurate, but it's
Maybe
really
it is
funny.
though. You know what I mean? We've seen we've seen stuff like that happen. And who knows? But it's sort of somebody from the come up. He wanted something, he got it. He was a comedian. I'm pretty sure in the movie, and that just shows you how if a
The
comedian plays a
movie,
comedian, that's double the comedian right there. That's double the
if
funny.
you,
So
I'll say if you like Chris Rock's stand up, Head of
yeah,
State is essentially a movie full of his stand up with a plot.
exactly,
I'll say if
exactly,
you like his stand up, go check out this movie. It's fairly funny.
exactly.
I won't say I'll put it in my top, even my top 20. It's definitely a movie that I really liked as a kid. Well, I have not gone back to it in like 6 years now.
Same. I don't remember how I saw the movie, but just good.
Wait,
You know what I mean?
are you
It's
guys
funny. Yeah.
are you guys saying that he does a stand-up comedy as well?
Chris Rock,
Yeah,
yeah, he's a stand-up comedian.
that's nice.
Uh, if you don't know who Chris Rock is?
No, I probably seen his, like I said, I'm not really good at names, but I probably have seen his face, but no, the name doesn't
Uh,
remind.
if you can't see my screen, it is this guy.
Okay, no, actually, I see what you're talking about. I see what you're talking about.
All
Yeah,
right, so let's talk about Robo. Do you have another movie?
yeah, actually, I do. And the reason why I asked if he was a stand-up comedian is because I actually have a really good stand-up comedian actor at the same time that I would like to share with you guys. So one thing that I would like to just like say, and I don't know if that could really make sense or if that's fair to say, but I think that in comedy as a whole, um, I think we can separate movies into two separate sections, and those two different sections I think would be one where you have a bunch of movies that you would say that are like relatively funny and has a lot of comedy and that is a reasonable comedy. But then I think that on the other side there's like comedy that different actors that you can like literally rank into a list and say this one is really good, this one's really is average. But so actually, my stand-up comedian and actor at the same time is called Jamel Debbouze. He's a really well-known actor. He's been into that how do you call it industry for a long time, and I would highly recommend you to watch all of his movies. But one that I think is a really good animation movie that he made. It's called, and I'm pretty sure they have it in English too. It's called Animal Kingdom. Let's Go Ape.
Uh,
And I think it's a really interesting movie because so basically I think if it's been a long time since I've seen it. His dad, something is wrong with his dad, I know, and he has to deal with that through the whole movie. And I think at some point he regrets the fact that he was born, and it's a really interesting. I think that they're half humans, half monkeys or something like that, but it's a really good comedy.
Shoot.
I think I've seen this, if I'm not mistaken. It's it's an interesting pick. I'll say that. Never really thought of this. It's like the once like you said a family comedy. It's more in like the bedtime stories type of family when it comes to just comedies in general.
Sure.
Let's see. I think Antenna has just like disappeared. So let's go over
Yeah.
to I'll go ahead and I'll say it. when this was the one movie that I really had trouble picking. Originally, like you said, Nevi, I wanted to put Rush Hour here, but once,
Yeah.
like you said, we talked about that a lot. Also, it was Rush Hour, and I was like, okay, not Rush Hour. And now I thought, what else about either Jackie Chan or Chris Tucker? For Chris Tucker, I knew Friday, but I did not think that Friday, even though I love that movie, it's on like the level of the other movies, just like personal connection wise. And then I thought about uh, uh, Legend of the Drunken Master, but then that kind of put me in another direction where I wanted to put in a slapstick comedy, another Hong Kong comedy, which is Kung Fu Hustle, which
I
one
can't believe I forgot this movie.
one hell of a movie. It is so absurd. It is so comedic in its sense. It is so cartoonish. It is one. It's in its own right. It's probably one of the best action movies too. I'll say, it's an amazing action movie in its own right. It's one hell of a comedy. It's slapstick comedy at its best. It's just circumstantial comedy at its best. It's just amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The plot, I know, Hamza, me and you have tried to, talk about the Big Lebowski and its plot. I'll say that Kung Fu Hustle is up there too, just like when it comes to like the absurdity of this plot.
Yeah. Like towards the end, once the beard goes away, I don't even know what's going on.
It has some great action to this man, Stephen Chow. I haven't checked out any of his other work yet, but I'm really intrigued to go check it out. I've seen Kung Fu also like 3 times, and it's just amazing every time I see it.
Wow, and you only watched it for the first time like this year, right?
Yeah.
After I recommended it to you.
Yeah, like earlier in 11th grade, junior year, late 2019. That's when I saw it. I saw it again a few months later, and I just saw it again yesterday because I was just thinking Jackie Chan, and I was like, it's either I went to slapstick comedy, and I automatically thought Kung Fu Hustle. There's no way I can't leave that out.
All right. I don't know how I forgot it, but that would be in my top 5 too. But it's not, so.
I'm just be recommending the good movies though.
I'm gonna be recommending the greatest of movies. Now, well, let's go to Hamza. You're the one that's left. Number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah.
So this movie you put in your honorable mentions. It's What We Do in the Shadows by Taika Waititi. It is absolutely hilarious. There's probably not a minute that goes by where I don't laugh, which is a very, very...
It's rare.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good. It's like Borat. It's that mockumentary type of style.
Yeah.
And I know this will sound crazy and not even like a comedy, but it's about some group of cameramen documenting the life of these 3 vampires. And they're just life in modern New Zealand.
Yeah.
They made a show about it, and I still watch that show.
Yeah, I still watch the show
funny.
too. That's the only show that I've actually been watching over the summer, except for once I finish It's Always Sunny. I watched that. I'm still trying to find time to watch what's the other anime that you recommended?
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. I think when school starts, I'll get onto that. It's What We Do in the Shadows.
Mahir would be proud.
Yes, he would. I really, really wanted to have that up, but the first time I saw it, I feel like I didn't do it justice because I was just like trying to get through it quickly for the project in film class, and I watched it on my phone. So I really want to go back and watch it on a bigger screen, watch it again where I'm paying more attention. But either way, it had me laughing, just like you said. There were very few moments where you weren't laughing throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm. And it makes like the darkest stuff, like killing people, because they're vampires. They have to drink.
They have to drink.
They make that funny. It is very weird type of humor. Yeah. It's just Taika Waititi style. It just works so perfectly with this concept.
Yeah. So I'll start off for my number 2. I have what now I'm starting to regret is at 2 because just looking at the other movies, I have Blazing Saddles, which
really?
I was thinking back to some of the movies that I've seen. Airplane, you have Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and then you have Blazing Saddles. Those three movies were the ones I was contemplating to have in my top five. One of those three, and I automatically took out Airplane because I feel, of course, Holy Grail and Blazing Saddles are leagues above Airplane, despite Airplane is a really good one. And Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I feel they're comedic timing, everything comedically. I feel they're at the same level. Maybe Monty Python might have a slightly over, but Blazing Saddles. Just thinking back, putting myself in the mindset of somebody in what was it, like 1974, and this movie coming out, and in this movie just making fun of westerns when they were at their most popular. It's crazy to think about. Hamza, have you seen Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
Do you remember the sheriff gun? When the black sheriff arrives to town, and then he pulls out the gun, and then he's like, "Oh, you darn N-word," and then yeah, stop right there. That I think had me laughing the most I've ever laughed in a movie. It was
Wow.
subverting expectations at its best. I
To
watched
be
this.
honest,
Yeah.
I think Blazing Saddles is very overrated.
Oh, dude.
I can see
Oh.
why. I
Like, yeah, it has its funny bits.
yeah.
I didn't think the ending, like when a whole bunch of chaos happened, that was funny at all.
No.
That was like airplane humor. You have to be in like a certain
Yeah.
mood to appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I feel like I've only seen Blazing Saddles once, and I gotta definitely agree. I feel like I was in the perfect mood to watch it. It was like 7 o'clock. I had just ate dinner. I was just sitting down with my dad, and we just went through the whole movie. And it was just I was in the perfect mood. I was having a perfectly fine day, and it just went through me quickly. I feel like I might have to return to Holy Grail. And once again, I gotta watch that on my TV rather than watching it on my phone like I did last time. And it might beat out Blazing Saddles. It was just really close between this and Holy Grail, which one I would put in.
Wait, so you don't even have Holy Grail in your top five?
I don't. It's definitely my
It
honorable
wasn't in
mentions.
the honorable mentions.
Yeah,
though.
it should definitely be there. I don't know where it was, but I feel like it should be there. It was. It's just between those two that I had here. All right. I started off for second place. Let's go ahead. Robel. What do you have another one?
I kind of do, but I'm trying to see if this should be my second one or my first one. But it's just give me some time, because I think I can have some better, like even more like efficient ideas of like comedy movies that I know, but I just have to remember them. So just give me some time.
Okay. Nebi. What do you have in number two?
My number two movie. Good time. This was a hard one. You know what I mean? I'm
What just happened? Nebi just disappeared.
I'm giving it a boost on my. Where'd that go? Hello? Nothing.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're good now.
All right. Y'all heard my response?
No.
No. All right. Dang, I don't know. I feel like this one might be a bit too high, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it to Bruce Almighty.
Oh, that's a good one.
And this movie had, some another memorable moment. The monkey coming out of his rear. I should say, you know what I mean? All these little scenes, and I feel like the story was well put. It was just funny what he did, what he chose to do with all that power, and the responsibility that he had, and some of the scenes, where he had to pull the moon, and he was set in the mood. I'm not trying to go into his detail there, but I'm gonna give it up my number two spot.
Okay. I have this in my top 40. I had it in the 43, like that I originally thought of. Bruce Almighty. It's another one that's for some reason closely tied with my childhood. It's one that I watched with my family back in like 5th grade, and my family is super religious, so it was interesting to see their reactions at the time, and it's an interesting choice to put at number 2.
Yes.
Okay, Hamza just looks like Hamza. So let's go ahead. What's your number 2?
What, I look like what?
You look like Hamza.
I hope I do. So at number 2, I think this might be your number. Well, at number 2, I have The Big Lebowski.
Ooh, I'm interested to see what you have at 1. I'm interested to see what you have at 1.
The Big Lebowski is, I mean, just check out the other podcasts.
Yeah,
that
go
I've
check
been-
out any podcast ever.
It is funny. I've said what I like about it like twice so far, but it's a stoner guy just in his 40s or 50s, just wanting his rug back. That's the movie.
Yeah, that's the movie, and I feel like anytime anybody asks me about this from now, I'm just gonna not even try with the plot, and I'm just gonna tell them to go through it, because going through it and just like seeing the randomness of everything in the movie, I feel makes it even better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wait, give me 1 second.
okie dokie. Now, just a recap right now. Antenna disappeared, but for now, he has The Mask and The Hangover in his list. Nebby has Cheaper by the Dozen, Bedtime Stories, Head of State, and Bruce Almighty. Hamza has Borat, I won't say the rest for now, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, What We Do in the Shadows, and The Big Lebowski. Robel, have you come up with a number 4? Number 2, my
You know
bad.
what? Actually, I agree with you guys. There's like so many movies that are based on comedy that I would rank, and if I had the time, that I would like really talk about. And I would say that it's more than 10. Honestly, it is. And the one movie that I found, because I just saw a snapshot of it, and we talked about it in film class, but I don't know if you guys remember. It was 2 men sitting around a table, and there was this girl that was kidnapped, I think, by men, and she even had a bandage on her eyes so that she couldn't see where she was. And there was a bargain between the 2 men, and they had a cup, and one of them had poison in it. And I don't know if you guys can remember what movie that was. So basically, what happened was that they closed their eyes, and he switched the cups. But I mean, it was a really interesting, like really.
Oh, is this Princess Bride?
Yeah, The Princess Bride. I guess that's what it is.
Oh,
And I don't know if,
I was so
I don't know if
confused for a second.
do you think that it would be considered as a comedy?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's
Okay.
up there. It's another one that's in my top 40. I showed it to my sister, my younger siblings, a few months ago. They loved it. It's a great movie for kids.
Yo, Hamza, I saw the Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. In my opinion, my expectations were too high. Nah, I wasn't satisfied, unfortunately.
Well, yeah. I understand. First time I watched it, I was probably the same as you. I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of weird, but
Yeah, maybe
I watched
gotta
it
come
again.
back to it.
It
Yeah.
was amazing.
Alright.
I felt it gets better as you mature.
Oh, you're right.
All right, so wait, Robel, just to make sure, your number 2 is The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Great pick. That's another one that I had in my top 40. I don't know. I'll say that The Princess Bride is definitely up there between like Blazing Saddles, Princess Bride, Airplane, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like one of those 70s, 80s movies that I really find
It was made in the 90s.
good comedies. Oh, whoa. It was? I thought it was made in like 80 something.
I'm pretty sure it was the early 90s.
Yeah, it was late 80s, 87.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fact check it.
Wow. The more you know, huh?
Alright. Okay, so now to recap with Rebel, he has. I'm gonna let you pronounce yours, just
Okay,
so I don't
sure.
mess them up.
In fifth place, we have Ducovu, or actually, I actually realized it's l'élève Ducovu, but sorry, you guys will still find. In fourth place, we got Raoul Taburan. In third place, we've got Animal Kingdom, Let's Go Ape. And in second place, we got The Princess Bride.
Okay, now we're down to our number ones. Everybody but Antenna has given their picks before. I'll say before we get to number one, the more and more we go through this list, I have to agree with you guys even more and more. I feel the numbers are pretty arbitrary here. Where I feel like you said, Hamza, the gap between all of these is minimal. If there is even a gap between these movies.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, but my number one I'd say is definitely ahead of the rest.
Well, now we're gonna have to.
Even though it might be a small
I'm happy
amount,
with that
it's
statement.
still my favorite.
I think my number one too is a little bit noticeably ahead.
I'll give my reason for why I have mine at number one. Let's start off with Rebel this time. What do you have as your? Okay, let's just say your number one comedy of the 5 comedies here.
Okay. Okay. I was trying to find a movie, but it's alright. It's alright. What's it called? Okay, you guys might find this like really like weird, but I was a real fan of Garfield when I was a kid, and not just the Garfield the movie, but there's one that I actually really liked that was one of them was in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. That was the original Garfield, and then there was another one. I think it was in England. It was Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, and it was just I think it was just a childhood comedy that I just couldn't get over with. It was a really good comedy.
Yeah, I remember liking that film as a kid.
But which one do you pick though?
Honestly, I would go with the original Garfield, the first one that was released.
What is it? The Garfield movie? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
The Garfield movie?
It's called the Garfield movie. That's
yeah.
What it is.
That's actually I remember the plot of that movie. That itself is really funny. Isn't it Garfield or somebody gets stolen? Garfield gets stolen or was it Garfield that got stolen and Garfield? Okay, I'm already getting confused. I think Garfield got stolen and then Garfield went out and tried to find Garfield, but that's definitely not it.
The dog got stolen.
The dog got stolen. That's
right, and he went on to this like rescue. It was amazing. All
right. No, I'll go ahead because my number one movie is one that's already been mentioned, and it's actually Borat. I'll say that Borat, it's a movie that I just laughed through the entire time. That's the only reason that I'll put it at number one for now, because I don't think it's like supremely funnier than the others. It's just every single scene I was laughing. Like you said, with What We Do in the Shadows, there were few scenes where I actually wasn't laughing throughout the movie. That's really the only reason that I have it above the rest of them for now.
Oh, you left at the scene with the college kids in the truck?
Yeah. That was like sad, but also funny. That was. I found all of it to be funny.
I respect.
I guess I'll go next. I'll go. My number one comedy movie, is the Titanic, especially the second half. That joke had me dying, but it was hilarious.
That is really funny. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Like, no, I'm saying though. My number one action movie is The Pink Panther. This movie was just a classic right when it hit theaters. Too many good moments. Just the character. He's funny, whatever he does. His accent, the way he pronounces burger, the plot.
Are you talking about the original, correct? Or the
live action, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure that aren't they both live action?
Yeah. The first one.
Or like the one that they made in the 60s or the one that was made in 2006?
2006, I think. Yeah, I gotta respect this. This is one of my childhood movies too. Most of the movies on this list top. These are mostly the ones I can remember the most. And when I this was like a flashbulb event when I figured out like this movie when I remember this movie as on the list, and then just like what I mean. I just think it's better than each one that came before it. Have y'all seen this movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it, but I think it will be on my future list of movies that
No,
I'll
I
be.
think I think you would like this movie also, Ravel.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like all of the movies that you guys have mentioned, I've never seen them. It's like it's crazy how much more I can like discover, or how much more I haven't discovered in the movie industry.
Dang, I would imagine Robert has seen all the movies because he's naming French movies. I'm like, what?
I guess
Well,
it's
that's because he would watch those in
well,
Djibouti.
Oh,
yeah, I
shoot.
guess you see. I mean, that kind of makes sense. When you grew up into a certain environment, you just focus on those movies. And like I would watch English, like movies that were produced by English, speaking countries, but it was always in subtitles, so I wasn't really attracted with that. I like the originality of having people speaking their own language.
Yeah.
But now that I speak English pretty well, I think I have a lot to watch. So this podcast was really helpful.
You speak English better than I do. I was born here.
No, I don't think so.
Wait
Nebi.
a second. Nebi, were you born here? I wanna see.
Yeah.
Nebi, where were you? Because every single time I ask you, you change up your answer as to where you were born. Where were you
That's
born,
classified,
Nebi?
yeah. That's classified.
Okay, so Hamza, I am supremely intrigued to know what you put at number one, because I know how high of praise you have for The Big Lebowski. You were the one that recommended Borat to me back in like the 9th grade. I think that's one of the first movies you ever recommended to me. Dirty Round Scoundrels, I never even heard of it. What We Do in the Shadows, I know it's funny. What's your number one?
So y'all will never guess this. Is The Shining.
I heard about that.
Jack Nicholson's acting is the most funny thing when he's crazy.
What? Oh, the
Are you
Shining.
for real?
Wait, what do you mean? Am I for real?
Are you for real?
I mean,
Have
why
you
else
seen-
would I say this?
Have you seen the dubbed Jim Carrey versions of The Shining on YouTube?
No, I have not.
If you like The Shining as a comedy, you gotta go watch that. It's hilarious.
Dang, but this man Hamza insane, bruh.
And I knew I was. If you're being for real, like 100%, this is the most intriguing pick of any podcast yet.
Well,
This is.
it sucks that I'm not being for real though.
Oh, dang. He had us half, didn't he?
All right,
You had me there.
this film I recommended to probably like all of the guys in film class, and they watched it for like a straight week, and each one of them you could just hear them laughing in the background in random periods of the class of the school day. My number one pick is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It's on Netflix.
What other
Go
movie
check it out.
can you have
Sure.
where there's a bunny that is like the biggest killer in its universe?
Wait, what movie? The
Monty
Shining.
Python and the Holy
and
Grail.
the Holy Grail.
Monty
You know,
Python.
Hamza, I knew this was gonna be somewhere in your list. I knew it had to be, but I was going through just like top 100 lists from just websites online, and the one thing that I'll say is the most controversial to me that I saw, they put Life of Brian over Holy Grail. And
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
really don't. I'm gonna have to go back and watch Blazing Saddles and Holy Grail once again, just to see if any of these opinions that I stated actually hold up. I can't disagree. Holy Grail is one hell of a movie. I'll say Borat. I said that I laughed with the entire time. Monty Python. It might also be up there. It might be. I can't remember if I laughed through everything. I probably did. You guys probably heard me laughing through everything. So
I remember. I think Billy watched it also, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure Me and Andrew would just be sitting in chemistry class, just watching this movie for like in the last 10 minutes and laughing through everything, pretty much everything. We just rewatched over and over again the tis just a flesh wound scene. Just a flesh.
It is the silliest humor you could ever come up with, and it just works so well. I know some people.
So many levels.
Like, I know a few people that don't like this movie because they don't appreciate silly humor. For the same, like, another honorable mention that I have, Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, yes, definitely. Have y'all seen Napoleon Dynamite, Robel, and Nebi?
Nah.
Vote for Pedro.
I thought about adding that to my list, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.